Welcome, guys. This is the Soft Sport Podcast. My name is Sasa P, and I've got my brothers here, Handy and Mr. Fair Play International, the man who loves things to go very, very fair and just. Yup. Right now, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please make sure you do so. Follow us on all our platforms, and let's get the ball rolling. Today, the transfer window has got like a few days to end, but we would like to talk about some of the dramas that have occurred in this transfer window. Of course, every transfer window presents us with a lot of controversies, but this time we are seeing something that's common, and that is the issues with players forcing a move from their club. We've got numerous players to talk about, numerous situations, but we'll just talk about a few because we're gonna keep it short right here on today's episode. So let's start with I think the biggest one is the Isak issue. Isak really wants to leave Newcastle and he wants to go to Liverpool. Yeah, I don't know what he's looking for there, in my opinion, but he wants to go there because he thinks that's the best team in the world, and he's forcing his move out of Newcastle. The Newcastle fans are not happy with the way he has handled it. He didn't train. He's even gone on social media to say he wants to leave. According to him, Newcastle are not keeping their end of the gentleman agreement they had, and he just wants to leave the club. But the club are saying no. At first, they said they need to get a replacement, but right now, I don't think it's about getting a replacement anymore. I think right now they really want to
Well,
keep him.
Liverpool stole their replacement. Have you thought about it that way?
Well,
Liverpool stole the replacement because they placed in a bid for Ekitike first.
yeah,
And what if they had gotten Ekitike? Don't you think they would have let Isak go?
that's true.
So sometimes I feel like we don't look at it from the club's perspective because at the end of the day, you signed a contract with the club, so you're obligated to actually be at the club.
Okay, so are you
Yes,
saying are
they
you,
might
are you
have had.
saying are you saying Isak is wrong in this instance?
Yes, 100%. Like that is where I'm coming from. Because even if you might have a gentleman agreement, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, at the end of the day, that is not putting pen on paper. The only agreement we know is when you sign one. So yes, the club might have agreed, but what if the club is angry at the fact that Liverpool went ahead to buy their replacement? And now they still have to let you go to that club. They are not about strengthening other teams, their rivals, their opponents. So they're looking at it like, okay, yes, the fans are mad at you right now, but once we can keep you to the transfer window ends, we can integrate you back into the team, and have you, win the hearts of the fans again by playing well. The most important thing is why it is this huge is because he's an absolutely amazing player. He's a good player. That's why it is this big. Situations like this happen. Like I don't want to call names, but like the Nigerian one we talked about, Lookman. It's a similar situation right now happening at Atlanta, which I feel like if it's not addressed, it's going to end up the same way. So, but at the end of the day, you have a contract that you signed with the club. And when you were signing, you signed for 4 years or 5 years or 3 years. You didn't sign for 2 years that after 2 years you'll be leaving. If not, you'd have left for free. So I feel like as much as a lot of players, they get hurt from this situation, but at the end of the day, you have a contract and you have obligations to meet.
okay. Yeah, clearly he wants to leave the club, but what does the club gain by keeping a player who has openly expressed his desires not to play for you anymore? There's no love for you anymore. That player is going to be unhappy if he remains in your camp. So, Mr. Fairplay, how do you keep that kind of player? Of what good is it to the atmosphere in the dressing room? Of what good is it for the club? Why are you keeping such player?
I think first thing, yeah, when it comes to work, sometimes your emotions doesn't count. It doesn't matter if you're happy or you're not happy. It's about being professional. And as a professional footballer, even if you're not smiling, even if you're not happy, if you can give me the quality, if you can give me the services that I need in my team, I won't really care. I think that's the main thing there. Clubs we've seen instances where player wants to leave, club don't want to leave,
Yeah.
argument here and there. But at the end of the day, they'll come together and sign a new contract, and that will be all. And the player will be back playing at its best, and everybody will go back home happy. So it's about being a professional. It's not about when it comes to work, you keep emotions aside and just focus on your work in itself and
So
being a top professional.
you said it's about being a top professional, but we've seen different situations where the players actually put their foot on the ground to say, "I'm leaving." Victor Gyökeres, another example.
Yeah.
He didn't turn up for training. He actually got fined by Sporting Lisbon because he didn't turn up. Like it was that crazy. But we have some good examples, like Ebere Eze, who just moved to Arsenal. He was top, like up there. We knew a transfer was imminent, but he kept training until the last day. He kept training. So why do you think there are some players who will continue their job with their jobs? They will play, they will train, and then there are some who prefer to distance themselves from the club and just go AWOL.
I think the issue is we want to see players act like Eberechi Eze, but sometimes in life is not always black and white. There are times where the only way you can get what you want is to do it the hard way. We've seen instances where players will come out clearly and say they don't want to leave. They want to leave, and the clubs will say you're not going to leave, and then the players will end up staying. And at the end of the day, to become a bad decision. So we want to see players do the right thing by being professional, stay true to their contract, honor their contract, and all of that. But sometimes, in reality, the only way you can get what you deserve and what you want is by being a bit difficult. And some players have done it, and it has worked for them. So that's why other players are doing it, and it's difficult to blame the players, and at the same time, it's difficult to blame the club because everybody wants what's best for them. So you do what you think is best for you that will end up being the right decision for you. So that's why we're seeing these things that we're seeing. And
You
it doesn't look like to end anytime soon.
Well, if it doesn't end, the transfer window is going to end. So there's going to be one thing. We talk about the players and the club, but there's also a key figure that you didn't mention: the fans. And what I realized with the
Yeah.
fans is, say, okay, you support Arsenal now, and let's just say someone like, who's your most cherished player? Bukayo Saka. Say,
Okay.
oh no, let's say Saliba. Saliba going to Real Madrid. Imagine Saliba not turning up for training just to force his move to Real Madrid. You as an Arsenal fan, you'll be pissed. Like, you're gonna curse Saliba, like how you did Van Persie, Nasri, Fabregas, and the rest. But if it's the other way around, say a Vinicius wants to come to Arsenal and he decides not to train, you'll be like, yes, he loves this club. You're not gonna look at his antics or his unprofessional behavior. So at the end of the day, I think everybody just wants something good for themselves, no matter how they get it. We
When
are we are
you're
all
at the
selfish in a
receiving
way.
end of the stick,
Yeah.
when you're at the receiving end of the stick, it hurts. You complain, you
True.
you
True.
speak out. But when you're at the giving end, for instance, Arsenal go correct, you can't complain. You can only say, well, I don't really like the way he left his club, but I'm happy he's here. You know. So I think it's just fall boils down to those two scenarios. Whoever is at the receiving end, they get it the hottest.
All right. Hottest. He's. I'm not gonna say worse because he still is one of the hottest strikers in the world, and on social media, he's one of the hottest personalities. Now he plays football. He also plays live in a very fun way, and he has given a lot of people joy. If you have gone through his social media and you have not smiled, then I think you need to see a doctor because your sense of humor is crazy. I'm talking about Victor Boniface, the Nigerian whose move to AC Milan didn't really work out. It could be for his own good, as a matter of fact, because Nigerians and the Italian Serie A these days, I don't really advise any Nigerian to go there. But that's a story for another day. But yeah, his move to AC Milan didn't work out because of a failed medical. Prior to this, I heard people talking about asking some questions. I think it was a tweet I saw when someone said, has someone ever failed the medical before? And I'm like, yeah. I remember back then, there was a guy who moved from Inter Milan to Fulham. I can't remember his name. Was it there's this French guy, D'accord. He used to play in midfield or so. If I'm not mistaken, D'accord. I think so. I think there was an issue with his medical. But there are players who have failed medicals before. And some of them,
No.
the club still end up signing them. But it just depends on the extent. And you can fail your medical at any time. Just like how you can be very healthy and one day you just wake up with a sickness without knowing. But people have been criticizing Victor Boniface for something that's literally not his fault. I understand his social media presence seems to worry people. And it's funny how it only works out when things are not going well for you. Personally, I'll put my hands up to say I was a bit critical too about him. And till now, I still think he could do more with some packaging. Because sometimes you need to understand where you are from, how you do some things. But at the same time, he's a human being. I didn't get him to where he is right now. He got himself there. So he has the liberty to do whatever he wants to do to stay happy. You get, it's easy to speak sometimes, but I thought about it again. Having 2 ACLs as a young star, your very first trip to Europe, your very first club, within few months you had an ACL. You had another ACL and your mom died at a very young age, bro. This guy has spoken in several interviews of how he nearly quit football. For someone to say that, that means you can really tell that everything he's doing on social media is just a coping mechanism. Like how they say the funniest people sometimes are the saddest people. You get?
Indeed.
It's his way to cope. I'm sure he doesn't drink, he doesn't get high on something. So that's where he gets his dopamine from. That comedy and that social media lifestyle. But he has been misinterpreted and people think he's not serious as a professional. But I like the support.
I think,
I like the support he has received recently from health professionals. There are some people who have trained with him before and they have come out to say this guy is one of the hardest workers we have trained. Yeah, Handy.
Yeah, sorry. I was just about to say, I think it has to do with the country it comes from too, being Nigerian, and Nigerians being online, how the hate can always get to you, especially when you're doing well, then all of a sudden you start having a setback. Nigerians are one of the hardest people when they come at you, because being present, being in their faces. I'm going to use an artist, a musician like Davido, for instance. Because he's a social media present. He's always present, rather, on social media, right?
Yeah.
So you'd see that as much as he has a lot of love, he also has a lot of people that come at him and just bash him, for always being online. But I think it has to do with your personality, right? Like Boniface being on social media does not affect his playing lifestyle whatsoever. And besides that, too, right now, players are even encouraged to post about their clubs, their game, like maybe like their day to day or
Yamal.
yeah, like for instance, every Real Madrid player posts before the game, of how they're ready, just a picture or saying "Let's go, Hala Madrid." And after each win, too, you see all of them coming onto their social media posts, encouraging each other and supporting each other. That way, they're keeping it healthy, and also promoting the club, which is something that is ideal and understandable. I think that is where some of the criticism coming towards Boniface is referring to, that you can keep it professional. You can maybe have one social media where you're anonymous, you drop your funny things and jokes. Like the other one, he went on live where he was on TikTok live and he said he's a yahoo yahoo boy, and they were girls. So things like that are the reasons why people criticize him. But as a player, there's no room for criticism because he has gone beyond limits, and beyond, gone through the extra miles, vigorously, and he has come out on top. And he's a Bundesliga champion, and invincible at that, and a German cup holder. So nothing can take that away from him because his journey to this point, it hasn't been easy. So AC Milan not signing him might also turn out to be a blessing in disguise for him.
People forget that these athletes, it's not easy for them, It's not easy for them. If you have had the opportunity to play sports before, you will know how difficult it is. And we talked about this the other time, Handy, about athletes, having a tough skin. When we talk about mental health, like, of course,
Mental health. Yeah.
you shouldn't really care about what people say outside. What should matter to you the most is what your coaches say and your family members. You get, and sometimes it's your coaches what they say that's the most important. You get, because sometimes your family members might not even understand from the professional side. They might not understand. They might be too emotional. You get, like what Jude Bellingham's parents did recently. Did you hear of that? That
Yeah.
they tried.
At
It
the
was
Dortmund
reported
tunnel.
that they tried
Yeah.
to go into the dressing room or so to confront the coach
Yeah.
for substituting their child.
Mm.
Again, topic for another day. But
Situations like that, yeah, they don't let the kid settle in
no, no,
well,
no.
because now the pressure comes on him too.
Very unnecessary, and not just the pressure from the fans and the club, the media. You have brought in
The
Yeah.
media
a
too.
very,
Yeah.
very hideous light and attention on that boy. But again, topic for another day. Let's focus on Ademola Lookman quickly in like just 1 minute. What's up with Lookman? Is he going to move? If he's not moving, do you think he's getting the right help and support he needs? Does he need a change of agent? What is happening with Lookman?
I think it's not a matter of agent. It's just like the Isaac issue. He was supposed to. There was an offer from PSG last season, but Atlanta were able to convince him, to stay. That at the end of the season, they will let him go. Now the season has come to an end. It's time for him to leave. Inter Milan have bidded and they're ready to take him. All of a sudden, the club is saying, "We promise you that you're going to leave, but not to another Italian club. We're not going to sell our best player to a rival team. So if you must leave, he has to be abroad." And Ademola is like, "This is not the discussion we had. You said I was going to leave. You didn't mention an Italian team or a team abroad." But they are saying, no, it can never be an Inter Milan team. So he has to be abroad. What if an offer is not coming from abroad? So the player himself is upset. He's not happy about this. He had to, just like Isaac, he has not resumed. He left, he traveled to England and then to Portugal. And all of a sudden, there's argument left, right, and center. Those who are for and those who are against. You see, let me just add that Arsene Wenger was predicted that something like this is going to happen. Player power is going to come to play in the next few years because we're getting to a stage where clubs are not letting players leave as at when due. So some of the players are thinking the only way I can get this thing is to, do something a bit crazy. Maybe when I do something crazy, they will want to associate themselves with me and
Terminate your
they will let
contract.
me go. So this is just the new trend. I'm not a fan of it, but it is what it is. And just like Andy said, if you are the receiving end, your reaction will be different. But if you are the other side of the thing, your reaction will still be different. But at the end of the day, he's our Nigerian boy. We want
Okay.
to see him resolve these issues and get the best opportunity to play
Still
for.
the best player in Africa
I
at the
think
moment.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
he's one of the, what's the word now? When you don't, the opposite of you shining the light on something. The spotlight is far from him as an African player of the year.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I forget, respectfully, and it's not right
Yeah.
because this boy is actually. It's not like he didn't deserve it. He worked for it.
Yeah, he deserved it. They
He
worked
worked
for it.
for it, man.
Earned it.
I think this thing with branding and PR for some of our African players, some of them need to take it more seriously because these days, man, it's really crazy. Okay, let's just leave the transfers for now. Handy, quickly in like 2 minutes, just let us know what's up with the our FPL,
And
the FPL
oh
group.
so we've created a group and
First of
everyone
all,
that is
first of all,
interested.
yeah, first of all, for
Yeah.
the benefit of some people who don't really know what FPL is, what is the FPL?
Okay. The FPL is the Fantasy Premier League. It is where you can build up your team, with yeah, you show your coaching skills to show that you know the players that you think are going to perform well during the weekly matches of the season, and they earn points for defenders and keepers. They earn points by not conceding, keeping clean sheets, making tackles, saving penalties. For midfielders, you earn points when they assist, or also can keep a clean sheet, and you can captain a player in your team, and you have a vice captain. So for those interested, we have prizes that are going to be given at the end of the season. We won't be saying it now, but yes, there'll be prizes for the winner, the second, and the third. We'll have a link that we're going to add to this video, and everyone interested in joining the Soft Sports FPL group, you're welcome, and let's see how good you are.
Okay. I think who won last year?
Mr. Fairplay.
He won.
Who was our winner? Who was our winner last year? I'm not sure.
It's very
But I think
it's very
Mr. Yeah.
it's very obvious. I know I won from behind. That was because I was inactive. All right, yeah. You can try to sign up. I'm gonna post it on our platform, and there'll be a reward for the first place, second place, and the third place. There'll be a reward. Okay. Why is this man advertising his name for us? where,
Moving
where
from
have
one
you
sport
gone?
to another.
Where have you gone? Yeah. Some transfer updates just coming in, but we're not gonna go into that deeply. But yeah, the season has started well, man. In La Liga, I don't know what Villarreal are doing, bro. Those
They're
guys are
cooking.
actually good. They are actually good. I won't
Yeah.
lie to you. I think they can actually beat Barcelona and Real Madrid right now if they play.
Well, Villarreal is never an easy game against Real Madrid.
That's
So
true.
we always, especially at their home, we always struggle. It's always a 2-2, or they win 3-2, or we win 3-2. So that's how the scoreline has always been. They're a team that, the Yellow Submarines, they are very difficult to play against. And they play traditional 4-4-2 where they've been really solid at. So they're going to play in the Champions League this season, and I really look forward to seeing them there.
That's good. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I wish we had more time, but today we just keep it on the low. As you can see, my face is looking all. I never sleep. I'm looking tired. I admit that. But anyhow, it's how it is. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this. My name is Sasa P. I've had Handy and Mr. Fairplay right here on the Soft Sport Podcast. Please make sure you like, you share, you subscribe to this channel, and follow us on all our platforms. All right, and get engaging. Go in the comments. Let us know your thoughts, and on any of the topics we've talked about, give us your opinion. And let's go. Once again, I'll post the link for the FPL on our platforms. You can go there, check it, and just follow the instructions. And you could be the winner of something good come the end of the season. All right, guys. See you later.